Okay, intermediate algebra, let's get back to it and do number 4. 7y minus 4 times 7y plus 4. When you see the same thing like this, with opposite signs in the middle, these are called conjugates. And when you multiply them together, they have a special property. Let's see what that property is. Let's draw the arrow. 7y times 7y is 49y squared. 7y times 4 is plus 28y. Negative 4 times 7y is negative 28y. Negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. So that special property that we're talking about is, notice these two middle terms, what happens to them? They cancel each other out. So it's 49y squared minus 16 as the answer. We can do this with two terms regardless of how many variables are there. We just need to make sure we do this correctly. So draw your arrows or your box. 2x times 3x is 6x squared. 2x times negative 4y is negative 8xy. 3y times 3x, is plus 9xy. You can write it like this as well instead of vertically. 3y times negative 4y is negative 12y squared. It doesn't matter if you write xy or yx. I'm always going to go in alphabetical order. So this is 6x squared plus xy minus 12y squared. When something is multiplied by itself, that's the same as a number squared. I'm going to leave this one for you because we're going to do more of these in just a bit. 1/2 x plus 3 times 4x plus 8. I know we are not the biggest fan of fractions, but we will survive. 1/2 x times 4x is 2x squared. 1/2 x times 8 is plus 4x. 3 times 4x plus 12x. 3 times 8 is 24. For a total of 2x squared plus 16x plus 24. Okay, and one with all fractions. Negative 3/5 y minus 4/7 times 2/5 y minus 1/7. Negative 3/5 y times 2/5 y. So remember, for fractions, you multiply across the numerator and denominator. So that's negative 6/25 y squared. Negative 3/5 y minus 1/7 is plus 3/35 y. Negative 4/7 times 2/5 y is negative 8/35 y. Negative 4/7 times negative 1/7 is positive 4/49. Combine your like terms. Remember, they have the same denominator already. So how do we combine them? We just subtract across the top. 3 minus 8 is negative 5/35 y plus 4/49. However, if you're on your homework and you put this answer in, it will tell you you are wrong. Well, it will tell you your answer is not in the most reduced form. 5/35 can be reduced, so make sure to do that. It reduces to 1/7 because they're both multiples of 5. So minus 1/7 y plus 4/49. Okay, so there are special cases you may come across. When something is squared, that means it's times itself. That means you need to write out two of them next to each other. Don't just square x and square 5. At least 5-6 people will do this on the test every single time. If something is cubed, it's times itself 3 times, and you should multiply the first two together, get an answer, take that and multiply it by the third one. And again, don't just cube both terms. That's not going to do it. Like we talked about on the last page, if you have two binomials with opposite signs, those are called conjugates, and the middle term cancels out. So those are our special cases that we might encounter. So let's look at x minus 2/3 squared. I would always just write this as x minus 2/3 times x minus 2/3. You may see a pattern when you're multiplying these, but it's still always safer to write it out and then use either FOIL, the distributive property, box method, any of those. x times x is x squared. X times negative 2/3 is negative 2/3 x. Another negative 2/3 x. Negative 2/3 times negative 2/3 is positive 4/9. When I add those two together, it's negative 4/3 x plus 4/9. And I will leave number 2 for you to do so we can get into more complicated ones on the next page. 0.8s plus 0.7t. You may have some with decimals as well. Again, I would write them out. Multiplying decimals. 0.8 times 0.8. Think of 8 times 8. How many total numbers are behind the decimal? 2. So it's 64, but both of those have to be behind the decimal. So 0.64 s squared. 0.8 times 0.7 is 0.56 st. Another 0.56 st. And then 0.49 t squared. So middle terms to combine. It's 1.12 st plus 0.49 t squared. And you may put 0.49 and 0.64 if you would like. I usually do not. It's up to you. Now we can get into compound problems, which are multiplying lots of things together. 5 is another conjugate, so we'll skip it. We'll do number 6. 3x times 2x squared minus 5 times 2x squared plus 5. My suggestion is if you ever see a conjugate, probably multiply those two together first, because we know the middle term will cancel out and it will give us less to work against. So 2x squared times 2x squared is 4x to the 4th. 2x squared times 5 is plus 10x squared. Negative 5 times 2x squared is negative 10x squared. Negative 5 times 5 is negative 25. And there's still a 3x in front. Now we know our middle terms cancel. So all that's left is 4x to the 4th minus 25. And here, this 3x isn't a binomial, so the only thing we have to do is distribute it in to both terms. So that makes 12x to the 5th minus 75x. And number 4 is very similar to this one. Lastly, we'll do 7. 8 is a little long. 7 is not so bad. This is 2a plus 1 cubed. That makes 2a plus 1 times 2a plus 1 times another 2a plus 1. So I'm going to start with just 2. 2a plus 1 times 2a plus 1. FOIL, or use the distributive property or box method. That's 4a squared plus 2a plus 2a plus 1. I'm going to combine my middle terms, so that's 4a squared plus 4a plus 1. This whole thing is times another 2a plus 1. Okay, so now I'm going to distribute again. We'll start with the 4a squared times 2a. That's 8a cubed. 4a squared times 1 plus 4a squared. Now 4a times 2a is 8a squared. 4a times 1 is 4a. Now 1 times both of those. 1 times 2a is 2a. 1 times 1 is 1. In total, this is 8a cubed plus 12a squared plus 6a plus 1. And this is all for 4, 5, and 4, 6.